All right, good day, everyone. My name is Vaughn Gathings, and welcome to the WorkGrind Vlogcast. This is my first episode, and today we're going to talk a little bit about a concept called the turkey effect. And please bear with me as I explain what the turkey effect is. I know it sounds crazy because the word turkey is involved, but trust me, you're going to enjoy it. So the agenda for today. First, we're going to talk about the book, The End of Jobs by Taylor Pearson, which is my main source of content. And then we're going to talk about the turkey effect, which comes from the end of jobs. Finally, we're going to have a part two, a second video, because there's so much content. And we're going to talk about potential problems and potential solutions with the turkey effect. On the bottom right hand corner, that is my contact information. In the video prior to this one, my introductory video about my vlogcast and the higher education network, I talk about my purpose for contacting me. And again, I'm going to repeat it really fast. So if you have any ideas, questions, comments, or concerns, these are any outlet to reach me. And I'm open. I'm an open book for ideas for a topic for the blogcast. Um, what else? If you want to do interviews, you have some things going on, and you want some promotion. So please contact me. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, and the Higher Education Network. And again, for people who are very overly critical, that is not, or overly analytical, I shall say, that is a play on words. Higher education is not higher like HIGHR. It's spelt like that intently. And I'm gonna talk about that in the end of the second show, and I talked about it on the show prior to this one. So, let's talk about the book content. Um, so I used a book called The End of Jobs by Taylor Pearson. I read this book. I was given this book by one of my mentors, and I absolutely loved it. But I love the subtitle: Money, Meaning, and Freedom Without the 9 to 5. When we talk about money, what do we mean? Of course, we know the basic aspect of earning money, spending money, saving money, retiring with money. Um, but also we have to think of money in different aspects as well. Of course, we're going to think about how money is viewed globally. Like what is the U.S. dollar going to be worth? We've seen things like Brexit happen over the summer. The euro dollar is always a hot topic. So let's think of money and not just the basic binary of buying things and earning money. So let's think about money that way, and the book explains that as well. What about the meaning? So when we talk about meaning with a 9 to 5, is what you're doing every day. Are you passionate about it? Do you like it? Do you have fun doing it? Is that vacation a vocation? I'm sorry, is that vocation a vacation, as what people say, or is it a job that's just is it just a regular job? I don't mean it doesn't mean much to me. It just pays the bills and I go home. But there are some people who are at jobs and they absolutely hate them. So that's what we mean by meaning with a 9 to 5. And lastly, let's talk about freedom. The aspect of freedom. Do you want to clock in an organization, get a paycheck bi-weekly or weekly in some cases? Do you enjoy that, or do you want to be an entrepreneur? Or nothing is wrong with either or, but the 21st century, you have more and more people that are doing things on their own, making money fast. And again, I will repeat, nothing is wrong with doing either or. But in this book, that's what money, meaning, and freedom is. I don't know Mr. Pearson, that is not me promoting his book, but what I am saying is it's a great read if you are interested in things like the job market, the workforce. It's a great book to have. So let's talk about the turkey effect. So you see three images on the screen: a bell curve, an 80-20 Pareto distribution, and a turkey. So real quick, please don't get intimidated with the bell curve and the Pareto distribution. I know it looks like some statistics or some heavy math stuff, but it really isn't. They're just images. And again, this podcast, vlogcast, visual representation is not created for me to talk down upon people. It's interactive. It's two-way. You have a chance to communicate with me or even help me if you feel like I missed something. So please don't think of it like that, but please bear with me when we talk about a bell curve and the Pareto distribution in this context. So the bell curve. So Mr. Pearson used a bell curve, and as you know, you probably have saw a bell curve in your math class. This is a normally distributed curve. So when we talk about the normal distribution of a bell curve, the middle portion, that's the average, and that represents 68%, while the other two ends represent 16%. And 16 plus 16, 32. 32 plus 68, that's 100. So that's a normally distributed bell curve. However, Mr. Pearson made a great analogy while using this curve, and these are not based on actual statistics, but what he said was in the middle, in that most people section, that's most of the workforce. That's 77% of the people. I'm sorry. That's yeah. I will talk about the 77% later, but that's most of the people in the workforce. That's the average worker, the consistently employed with the ability to make a living. On the left, that's the low end of the bell curve, and I use the rate called the U6 rate, where I would explain that's the total unemployment rate. So the consistently unemployed, the underemployed, black market, under the table money makers who make money illegally but find a way to make it by, and discouraged members of the workforce who probably just giving up wholly. And we know people like that. And then on the right, you have the creators, the entrepreneurs, the self-employed, people who are doing things on their own. Now, Mr. Pearson came up with a number that says 77%. Now, I was wondering, where did that 77% come from? And he said that is how most of the people are declared in America. He said most of the people are average participating laborers, and it made sense now because I did research on my own. So let's look at the U6 percentage. The U6 percentage is 9.7%. And what is the U6 percentage? Well, Nicholas Wells, this guy who's a columnist with CNN, stated the following. He stated that the U6 rate is defined as all unemployed, people that are marginally attached to the workforce, total employed part-time for some economic reason as a percent of the labor force. That means the unemployed, the underemployed, and the discouraged, and those are the type of people I explained in the last slide. So when we talk about the U6 rate and total unemployment, let's think about when we watch the news and we see these statistics that say there's a 5% unemployment rate, 50,000 jobs added in the month of February or the month of April or the month of July. But is that telling the real story? We know that there are demographics and populations of people who are going through severe unemployment. I remember reading not too long ago, around 2013, 14, that the black unemployment rate for 16 to 25, 24-year-olds is was close to 13%. So we have to understand that when we see the unemployment rate is on TV, it's a way to show and display hope that the economy is getting better. But we need to make sure that those numbers tell a real story, because there are a lot of people that are not calculated in those hopeful percentages, such as the discouraged people who probably are homeless, who probably have given up completely on finding a job. And then in 2015, nearly 14% are starting or running new businesses. So Global Entrepreneurship Monitor states that they're 14% of people. So those numbers are kind of similar to an average bell curve, but they do tell a story. So of course, 77, 14, 9.7, that makes close to 100%. So I see where those numbers tell the story, and keep in mind, numbers will skew. Like there's going to be numbers off. You probably see a new rate next week. But these numbers tell a story. I'm pretty sure things are similar. What you see here are similar to what's going on now. So that's how the bell curve describes the labor force. And then we have outcomes. So let's talk about the Pareto chart, the 80-20 distribution of inputs to outputs. So the Pareto 20-80, 80-20, however you want to put it, is distribution and principle, also known as the law of the vital few. 20% of the inputs or activities are responsible for 80% of all outcomes or results. That's just a basic law that is passed down through math and statistics. And Mr. Pearson also used this image because what he was trying to get us to see, that there is a vital few of people who are supplying and creating jobs for the majority. So 20% of people are job creators, entrepreneurs, and the rest of us are the 80%. And of course, we know there are jobs that are being created by federal government, state government, local government, but we know there's a small majority that's keeping the economy afloat and keeping jobs being created. So yes, the 20% is actually not the actual representation, but I think you get the drift that there's a small vital few and the rest of us. And lastly, before we get to problems and solutions on the next video, let's talk about the turkey. So what does the turkey represent? So I named the turkey Terrence. And if your name is Terrence, you could be my best friend or my worst enemy, but I couldn't think of a name, so I named him Terrence. So hello, Terrence. We're gonna use you for an example today. So a turkey is fed for 1,000 days by a butcher. Each day, it confirms to a staff of analysts that butchers love turkeys with increased statistical confidence. The butcher will keep feeding the turkey until days before Thanksgiving. The turkey will have a revision of belief. However, it's already too late. The turkey is fattened and slothful and out of options. And that quote comes from the book I am using for content. Sadly, the turkey is now expendable. Most of us Americans are usually like Terrence. We're in the middle of the bell curve and the average workers in America. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But we expect work. We expect these big time corporations to give us jobs and to make sure that we have a way to feed our family. However, the downside of that is most of these big companies, most of these people supplying work, and even some of the government jobs, they have shown us that we can be expendable at any time, no matter how good we are, because we can't run away from layoffs or drops down in the economy. So we need to be mindful of we can be expendable, like how Mr. Terrence is here, and that's why I started this vlogcast, because I want to have conversations like this. So think of this vlogcast, this episode, as an introduction to everything I'm going to be talking about. So just to conclude, we will have a part 2 that's going to be on YouTube. We're going to talk about potential problems, solutions of the turkey effect. Please, 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 if you want to contact me, my contact information is available on early part of the slide. So if you can, please tune into part 2 where we talk about problems and solutions. Please come with your comments, questions, concerns. Be appropriate, don't be overly smart aleck about it. But yeah, please keep your comments, questions, and concerns in mind from part 1, and please give them to me, and please tune in to part 2. Thank you.